Tiene una copita.
프렌치 토스트.
Now we are going to discover why they're still building the church, why they didn't finish the church when Gaudi was still alive. So we'll discover that along the way. Let's go to see. He's about to slaughter an innocent newborn baby. All the statues were made by Lawrence Matamala with the collaboration of his son John. You can stay within the church all the time you want.
そうです猿開いてるかな。Thank you.
Buenísimo.